If it hurts, you ain't afraid, smoke against you, know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, blue games, after this win in. Press you again, we're here for the first May. Carry my team never 6 minutes.
In this league, there are no off days. I don't care who you're playing against. I mean, you have to bring your A game every single day. And we have to have that type of chip on our shoulder when we go in there. And we can't go in there and think we can start slow. All right, we got to start fast, we got to finish fast, and we got to keep putting more gas on. So
the culture that Heipel and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standards to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
Wish that I was on old Rocky Top, down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoky smoke on Rocky Top. Ain't no telephone bills.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it anytime. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I am Coach Jay.
It's Friday morning. Crack open that Rockstar. Pour that cup of coffee. Hey, if you're having a cup of coffee, add a little hater. Add a little hater tears into it because it tastes really good on a Friday morning when everybody's dropping those hater tears into your coffee. Got a big one, Coach, man. You're in town. What's the vibe? What's the atmosphere in Knoxville? I know you got in what? You came in went late really Thursday. Thursday morning.
I got in early Thursday morning and took a little nap certainly after the red-eye flight, and a good attitude. Everyone seems to be really upbeat. Hit couple establishments up last night on Market Street, said hi to some folks, and had a really good time, man. I'm super excited. Always love being here. Already got some good barbecue, and definitely going to eat some more good food tonight. I believe me and Miss J and the gang will be out at Calhoun's tonight. So if any of y'all want to come by and say hi, you're certainly do. So I'd love to meet as many of you as possible.
You're going to turn it into a Talkin VAWLS meet and
Yeah,
greet. Put it
yeah.
out there. You say
sorry,
that, and there's going to be like
Yeah.
100 deep rolling into Calhoun's to hang out. Like, where's the Talkin
Sorry.
VAWLS family at?
Where are they? Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the vibe's like tonight around Knoxville, because this is a big
Me
one,
too.
man. This is it's not necessarily must win, but dang it kind of feels like must win for both programs for different reasons. We'll talk about that coming up in just a second. Let's see who's in the chat. I was going to go I like to go all the way back to the early arrivals. Who was here bright and early? Carson was here at 8:13, almost 2 hours ago. Carson was in the chat, says, good morning. What's up, brother? Rocky Top Tom was here by midnight tonight. I'll be within eyesight of the greatest stadium on earth. Corey Smith's in the house, says, cannot lose this game. It's a big one, man. It is a big one. Angry Titan was here. Bob was in the house bright and early. Backwoods is in the house talking about drama. Yeah, there was some drama last night, but we won't get into it much. We're going to talk football here. That's what this channel is all about. That's what this community is all about, is talking football. Roger Gerald is in the house. What's up, brother? Isaac Owens is here. We got some super chats coming in bright and early. How about this? April Campbell, been a member for 33 months. What is that? Approaching 3 years. 3 years of support.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you,
That's
April,
awesome.
for that. We appreciate that. Papa J for 5. Chicken finger plate will be served up this Saturday. Let's go, Big Orange. Thank you, Papa J. Crystal for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Crystal. Good to see you in the chat. Knoxville Predator catcher, been a member for 20 months, almost 2 years. Been a long-time listener, too. Appreciate that support, brother. Real Hank for 5. Dorothy, Covington, Tennessee. Boogie, you ready to go since your small potatoes? Wait, never mind. He never said nothing about your channel. That guy was a bum. Look, man, I'll address the elephant in the room for 2 seconds, and then we're moving on. Look, I went on to a stream last night to bury the hatchet with Carolina Jackpot. We buried the hatchet. We were ready to move on. Somebody wants to chirp. Look, I'm about community. I'm about family. I'm about building this community up, and that's going to be my focus moving forward. We're getting back to what you guys want. We're getting back to community. We're getting back to Talkin VAWLS, and everybody else can do whatever they want to do. I'm going to stop trying to pick other people up and trying to build other people up, and I'm going to focus on this channel and on this community. People on the outside can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. I do not care. We are going to focus on this channel and this community. That's what it's all about. But shout out, Hank. I appreciate you guys going to bat for me. I see you, Hank. I see you. Don't you worry. Dylan for 5. Dorothy leaving for Knox now. Let's get rowdy tomorrow. Man, it's going to be a hostile environment. I cannot wait. It's going to come through the TV. You're going to be able to see it on the TV. Seth for 5 says, bring back the Boom Boom Room. Yeah, that's what we're going to focus on, is the Boom Boom Room. Knoxville Predator catcher for 5. Had a very light night at the Oliver Anthony show, then work at 6 a.m. Got myself woke up just in time for Talkin VAWLS. Appreciate that. How was that show, man? So a lot of drama around that show. That dude canceled the show and moved the show. And
I was tempted to try to sneak my way in there, but I just laid low instead.
Neil K becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Neil. At Emoji Access, you guys can be a part of the crew as well. Hit that join button down below for just $1. You keep the lights on around here, and we appreciate that support. Thank you, Neil. Matt Mars for $10. All of my game day crew are headed to the beach, unfortunately staying behind for work. May just head to Neyland and hang out with 102,000 of my closest friends. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. Let me update the old leaderboard over here real quick. Coach, it is going to be electric. Dark mode, 7:30 kickoff. That means the sun's going to be set. They're going to be able to use the lights. A lot of kids are going to be on campus. How many times, and we're going to talk a little bit of recruiting here at the top of the show, how many times, though, throughout the offseason, when we were doing film breakdowns or we were doing whatever it was, just covering recruiting, did we always go back to kids that were at the Florida game and kids that were at the Alabama game last year? This has the opportunity to be that type of atmosphere.
All the time, man. Hey, listen, I'm not writing a new news story here. Neyland is absolutely electric. You can feel it in the air. It's palpable when you're in the stadium. They're going to be blowing stuff up during that pregame show. They're going to be throwing light shows out. We're going to feel like we're at a Armin van Buuren concert in Ibiza or something. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm certainly here for it. And those kids are going to hear what the Ravage fans of Tennessee can be like. And it's, in my opinion, our most valuable recruiting tool. I mean, we can talk about culture. We can talk about Heipel's offense, all that good stuff. We got the best fan base in sports, period. We got the best crowd in sports, period. They're going to be pumped. It's going to be loud. It's going to be deafening. I expect not to hear the person standing next to me when they're screaming at me. It's going to be rowdy and ruckus, and shoot, I'm ready for it. And these recruits will be able to point to it for months to come and remember that experience. What's it like when I'm in Neyland? What does it feel like when I'm there? Um, that sits with you, man. That electricity, that it's like a rush. You guys know, man. You guys have been in Neyland Stadium. There's just a rush going through your veins. It's goosebumps, right? It's tears in the eyes. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and our best recruiting tool, in my humble opinion.
Man, you guys are selling the memberships yourself. Pondy becomes a member of the channel. Alan Mole becomes a member of the channel. Jay the Lion becomes a member of the channel. Guys, I appreciate it. If you listen for whatever reason, the just the videos, you like the daily videos, or you enjoy the live streams, try to get different guys on here at different times. That's the beautiful thing of this community, because it is a family. And I saw somebody left a comment this week and said, hey, I coach a little ball in high school also. I would love to jump on and talk with you guys. Come on the fan call-in show, man. That's what it's all about. That's how we grow this community, is those fan call-in shows. We'll be doing one tomorrow, an hour before kickoff, and then on Sunday at 7 p.m. And you guys come on and you kill it on the fan call-in show, and you win over this audience. Guess what? You'll find yourself here on Friday morning drinking a cup of coffee, hanging out with me and Coach Jay. Let me hit some more super chats. Y'all being very generous this morning, bright and early. Maybe you felt sorry for me. It was a late night. Neil K for 5. Good morning, fellas. Been watching the show since you started. Highly enjoy it. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, Neil. Thank you for that support, brother. Trevor Hall for $20. That's an Orange Boy. You guys know the rules around here now. You drop an Orange Boy, you get rid of those greens and blues and yellows, and you drop an Orange Boy. We're going to play the clip.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Trevor Hall already knows. He says, play my theme music. I don't know if you like Dion or you like Pat McAfee yelling out Rocky Top, but appreciate that super chat, Trevor. Knoxville Predator catcher for another 5. Coach Jay, just a heads up. Boo will be playing tonight in Knoxville at Farragut High School.
I saw that. So how close is like Farragut to downtown and all that? Is it away? Is it on the edge of the city?
I have no idea. I can't tell you anything about Knoxville, but we'll see if anybody puts it in the chat. But I actually had that queued up and ready to go next, because as we're talking about recruiting, Knoxville Predator catcher, if you know, how far is Farragut? I guess if you guys are going to
I guess I could MapQuest it, yeah.
That would be a cool trip, though, to go watch Boo play.
I already told Miss J, I was like, oh, Boo's, I knew he was going to be around, but
yeah, he's not playing.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll have time or what time we're going to kind of end up there. If we get it done and it all makes sense, I would definitely love to go see that. That'd be awesome. And I know I'm with some like-minded individuals that we came out here with that are big high school football people as well. So we would love it if we can make it.
Everybody's saying about 20 to 30 minutes from probably where you're at. Okay. So back in Knoxville tomorrow for a game versus Farragut High School. I will also be at Neyland for the Blackout. Let's talk a little recruiting. Tons of kids, man. VolQuest put out the list today, and I could read it to you, but the show would be over before I can get – there's like 50 kids that are going to be on campus for unofficial visits. Now, you got 2 official visitors. Made a video on them yesterday. 4-star running back Daniel Hill, 4-star wide receiver Cam Michael. But the big one, Coach, the main event, Jordan Seaton. Now, let's rewind time. Let's go back to when Boo Carter took that visit out to Colorado. Boogie got nervous. Boogie made a video that was a sales pitch for Coach Prime. Nobody liked that video. Who was on that trip? Boo Carter and Jordan Seaton. Sometimes you go behind enemy lines and you recruit kids that are out there with you. Now, magically, Jordan Seaton canceling his trip that was scheduled to be at Oklahoma, coming to Knoxville for this environment unofficially, and still plans to visit officially later in the fall. How big is it? 5-star offensive tackle.
It's huge. Hey, listen, this offensive line, we all see how pivotal it is. And our tackle position has been a bit of a concern. And if we could put 2 bookends on this class in Mr. Seaton and Mr. Warren Bennett, we're living the high life, guys. We're sipping on the good whiskey. This kid is a monster. I don't know if y'all have had a chance to watch him play. Looking forward to doing a film breakdown on Mr. Seaton when he becomes a Tennessee Volunteer. I think he's going to catch this atmosphere tonight. I think he's going to fall in love with it. I think he's going to be all Vol, and hopefully before long we're welcoming Mr. Jordan Seaton home.
You know what we may do, since you said film breakdown, and he's visiting unofficially this week, and Tennessee's on a bye next week, and the content kind of changes during the bye week. Maybe we do a live film breakdown of Jordan Seaton. Get some buzz out there. That kid's going to be coming off of a visit. Everybody's going to be excited. Let's show him how much we love him and prioritize him. Maybe we do either a live film breakdown or just a film breakdown. That's something we can kick around and talk about.
Count me in.
Count me in. You look at the class of 24, and he would be third in this class if he did commit to Tennessee, right behind Jordan Ross. So Mike Matthews, Jordan Ross, both 5-star prospects. Ross 96.41. What's Seaton there? 96.19. I mean, that's three. You want to question Josh Heipel's recruiting? If they could land Jordan Seaton, man, that's three legitimate dudes in this class. And you mentioned the guys on the outside. He would join Bennett Warren, but also who's the other tackle? Why am I having a brain fart?
Other than Seaton and Warren?
Gage Ginther.
Gage Ginther.
Yeah. And, somebody said, Boogie, you failed to mention Gage Ginther and Jesse Perry. We talk about evaluations, right? And how good can Gage Ginther be? A lot of people think he's underrated. But you add Jordan Seaton alongside Bennett Warren, and then what you've got on the interior with a couple of high-end 4-stars as well, Max Anderson, William Satterwhite. You got to give Coach Ellerby credit for this class of 24. But, look, you got a long way to go in this one. Got a long way to go with Jordan Seaton. We'll see if Tennessee can close the deal on him. Any thoughts on Daniel Hill, 4-star running back, and also Cam Michael visiting this weekend?
Just double repeat on the crowd, right? They're going to fall in love with that. I love that Boo is there because, as we all know, Boo is really a leader out there. Kids kind of gravitate towards him. He's got that. What are the young kids called again, Boogie? He's got that riz, right?
I'm so much older. I was going to say swag. Like, I'm so old, like swag was the cool word. You say words I don't even know.
He got that. He's got that riz, as the young kids say, that charisma. So kids want to follow him, and I think it's it's double as good that Boo will be there in that electric atmosphere. I think hopefully you can get both those kids in. Along with Seaton, because they can certainly ball out at that level. And listen, you need to land as many of these kids as possible. No matter how good their high school tape is, not every one of them will pan out for whatever reason it may be, right? They might get buried in the depth chart because someone stands out. They might not be a right fit in the community and with the culture and might have to transfer out. So the more you can stack, like we always talk about stacking recruiting classes, the better off it's going to be for your football team, the less holes you're going to find in your rotation. And we all see what holes in the rotation can do when you don't have a good quality center, for instance, behind someone like Coop. You run into a problem, let's say.
Let me hit a couple of super chats here real quick. Logan Martin for 5 says, Dorfy, let's talk some Vols. That's the name of the show, Logan, Talkin Vols. That's what we're here to do, talk Tennessee football every single day of the year. Baseball, what's that? Basketball, what's that? Let's talk Tennessee football all day, every day. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Negaval's been a member for a solid year. Says 1 year later, still choosing to watch the App State hat-wearing Boogie. Oh, no, man, I'm a horrible person. As always, love the content, guys. Excited to jump on the tailgate tomorrow. GBO, dark mode. Appreciate that, Negaval. Thank you for the backhanded compliment, I guess. Wesley Page becomes a member of the channel. Guys, keep those memberships rolling in. We can't do it without you. He joins at Talkin VAWLS Elite. That's $10 a month. That is a very generous donation. I appreciate that, Wesley. Whether you can give $1, $10, $30, whatever you guys give, I'm grateful, and I'm appreciative that I get to jump on here, drink my Rockstar, and talk Tennessee football on a Friday morning with Coach Jay, a dude from the other side of the country that we have that common bond, and that is Tennessee Orange. That's what this channel is all about. Ronald Mickle for $10. Appreciate that. Says, I want Rattler's head. I know that's been the talking point all week, right? I mean, you got it. Can you get after Spencer Rattler? How bad is their offensive line, coach, that you've got 17 sacks? You've given up 17 sacks as a unit, and one of Spencer Rattler's strengths is using his legs to extend plays. It's like talking with Kaner. I think he put out Locked On Vols this morning. He's been sacked 17 times, should have been sacked 37 times.
Yeah, I sometimes I sit around and think if Colorado and South Carolina are having a worse offensive line contest because they are both bad. I feel bad for both Shakur Sanders and Rattler at times because man, they've been running for their lives. South Carolina's offensive line is starting to get a little improved, but still, like you said it really well the other night, Boog, when you said, how would we feel about it if we were missing 7 offensive linemen? Could our 7 backups be better or start playing better together? Sure, but we're still we're still in a bad way if that happens. So it's a problem, and the bigger of a problem it is for them, the better it is for us. I talked about it the other night. I expect big games from Norman Lott, from James Pierce, from Tyler Barron, from the Cheetah package as a whole. I want them pinning their ears back. I want them to go eat and bring us Mr. Rattler's head. Like we said, the old program adage, hit him so hard his girlfriend dies. Right?
Oh,
What a
man.
line! What a line, by the
Place
way.
at the
Right?
table.
Whoever wrote that whole script deserves every award.
See,
All
you
the
always go to
awards.
that one. I always like when the running back looks up at him and says, I never knew your mother.
Oh, yeah.
With the fear of God in his
I
eyes.
didn't say that.
I didn't
It's like a Georgia Tech player or something.
Come on, man. I never knew your mother. Dude, we've got to watch that movie. Like, I wish we could do a watch party watching it, but it would be so hard because it would be like 3, 2, 1, everybody press play at the same time because obviously we couldn't show it. But dang, that would be, maybe we do it anyway just because it would be fun. Jasmine becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Jasmine. Appreciate that support as well. Talkin VAWLS faithful. Appreciate that. Keep those memberships rolling in, guys and gals. You guys, man, I know it's redundant and I just keep saying it, but it's the truth, man. Like the memberships are what pays the bills. I'm grateful for every one of you. Real Hank for 5. I need to know 100%. One answer: the best restaurant that not super expensive. Going to the Vandy game with my wife on our anniversary. Need something great. You're asking the wrong dude, man. I know every time I go to Knoxville to a game, or when I used to go to Knoxville to a game, we would always just tailgate. We would stay at the car until make sure you get there to run through the T. So as far as like restaurants outside of Calhoun's, that's the only dumb answer I can do. What I will say is look at the chat right now. Look in the live chat right now. You guys answer Hank's questions. Put your restaurant recommendations in the chat because I know there's a bunch of you guys that can help him out with that. Richard Jackson for 5. Seaton retweeted about his visit this weekend saying the Vols are his favorite color, orange. Hashtag door feet. Man, it is such a big one. How much do you think, like, and I listen to like guys like AP and Matt Ray, guys that cover recruiting, they don't even really think it's necessary that you win this game. They don't really care. They care more about the atmosphere and the environment and the coaching staff and the schemes and NIL. I know Jordan Seaton says NIL was part of it. But how important is it from a recruiting standpoint, do you think, to go win this football game? Because you look back, talking about Florida and Alabama, hard to recreate that Alabama energy if you don't tear down the goalpost because Tennessee won the football game.
Yeah, I think it puts the proverbial cherry on top of the cupcake. You can have a great experience. The Vol Walk, everything, man. The Rock, Calhoun's, Vol Navy. You can have the whole 9 yards, but just that last, chef's kiss of awesomeness for Neyland is certainly getting the win on top of that. And then going in and seeing how the team's acting in the locker room, right? It's a lot different. You don't see that on tape, but they bring those kids back there after the game into the stadium, into the side locker rooms. They kind of watch from afar, not the whole time, but at times. And I'm sure everyone in here can guess what the environment in that locker room was like after that Alabama game. Or any win as opposed to a loss, right? It's just a whole different energy. These kids put their, blood, sweat, and tears into things. And when you work hard at anything in life, it's hard to fail, right? It hurts us when we fail. It's why we have so many mantras about getting knocked down and getting back up again in life. And it certainly stings in football when you put a lot of work into things and it doesn't work out for you. So I think it's a big cherry on top of the cake. Pie, cupcake, whatever you're eating.
Now you're the one that's dropping Rocky Balboa quotes, so don't come at me anymore. You can't beat a good Rocky Balboa quote. They're also honoring the 98 National Championship team. I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing, but I know they're going to honor them probably, I would imagine, before the game, maybe sometime during the game.
Yeah, yeah, like
Well, man,
halftime or before, have them walk out and do the old.
25 years,
Hey, we
25
won.
long years of misery since that 98 national championship game.
I remember it like it was yesterday watching that game though in in a it was called a King Arthur's Pizzeria, and I think, God, how old were we, Boogie, when that happened? That would have been like a junior or
High
senior in
school,
high
yeah.
school. And I remember that pizzeria because it was the only place that would sell us pitchers of beer at that age. So, so, so that's, I mean, so that's where we were. It's no longer in business, so I'm not busting them. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I wonder why they're no longer in
I
business.
could say
Right?
too. We were seniors in high school because it
Okay.
was the
Yeah. Yeah.
second
Yeah. Yeah.
semester of our senior year when they played
Right.
that game, and I had a baseball coach that would provide
Oh, yeah.
beverages for us, and I
Yeah.
watched the game with him and his wife, and they were Florida State fans. But man, what a couple
Okay.
of delinquents we are! Couple of delinquents. Let me hit some more super chats here. Parker for 5. Appreciate that, brother. Go Vols. Going to watch the tailgate show while I'm waiting on the game. Appreciate that. We'll be doing that an hour before kickoff on Saturday, 6:30. We'll get you guys on the show to hang out and talk about this game. Killer sack solo for 5. South Carolina is last in the SEC in total defense, last in yards allowed per play, last in pass defense, last in opponents' first downs per game. Man, we have analyzed and talked this game to death, but I mean, you look at the numbers, right? Look how terrible that defense is. And then on the flip side, you go look at their offense. They're one-dimensional. They can't run the football. They can't protect Spencer Rattler, but yet he is running around making backyard plays. I said it all week long. Can he carry that team? Can he put them on their back just like Hendon Hooker did this Tennessee football team at times last year? Can he do that and go beat Tennessee? I like Tennessee to come out and run the football down their throats. Why are they favored? You know what? It's an interesting game, and there's still a bunch of super chats. I'm going to come back and get those guys. We're just kind of letting you drive the show today. Don't have a whole lot planned. We're just rolling with it. But, there's a lot on the line in this game. You look at, from Tennessee's standpoint, you're trying to avoid starting 0-2 in SEC play. You look at it from South Carolina's standpoint, you're trying to avoid your third loss of the season, and you've got Florida, Missouri, Texas A&M all coming up next. That is next. That's what's coming up next for South Carolina. You don't want to have 3 losses going into that schedule. But here we sit, man, on Friday. Tennessee favored by almost 2 touchdowns. Almost every Vol fan that I see and interact with is nervous. They're anxious. They're scared of this game. And then South Carolina fans are kind of all over the place. Some of them are confident. Some of them are scared. What is it, Coach? Like, here we are 1 day away from kickoff, and our fan base is still terrified while we're favored by 2 touchdowns. A lot on the line, though. A lot on the line.
Yeah, no, hey, there's a ton on the line, and you just mentioned that schedule. You need to get right. We haven't put a full game of football together yet, and we need to make sure that we do that. And I think if we do that, it will all fall in the line on Saturday. I think it's a really winnable game. Texas A&M's looking like they've come down to earth a little bit after losing their quarterback for the season, so they're a little more manageable. I think Bama and Georgia are a little more manageable than previous years. We'll see what happens. They're still loaded with talent. Spencer Rattler can certainly beat us on his own if our DBs aren't on their P's and Q's and we're not getting home quick enough. I know they're without their best, or well, I guess you could argue about their best wide receiver or not, but one of their top 2 wide receivers.
The one that
certainly.
torched us last year.
Yeah, and I believe Leggett, whatever you want to call it, is pretty darn good football player too. So you want to definitely make sure you're keeping the chains on them and keeping them underneath, not letting the top come off. And then also being opportunistic. We talked about setting traps from a defensive side, lots of cheetah blitz, zone man fire, multiple coverage, split coverage. You kind of want to throw the kitchen sink at Rattler, keep him guessing, but most important, keep him on the move all day. Make sure you're pressuring him and pressuring him with speed. That's one thing that I do really love about this defensive line, especially in that cheetah package. Norman Lott can chase down a quarterback. He's fast. Pierce is probably faster than any quarterback in the SEC almost. That kid can fly. And then Tyler Barron's certainly quick in the inside as well. About the only one who can't beat him in a foot race is probably Big O. But Big O has been a monster inside as well. I think we need to bring Beasley quite a bit, and I think you'll see a good deal of Arian Carter again on Saturday coming up here. I think those young linebackers have gotten better every week. They still have work to do, but what a thing to be excited about, these young linebackers. These kids have made it onto the field as freshmen or sophomores, and they're getting better. We always talk about how Beasley's gotten better. Well, these young linebackers are getting better, and I know Herring's overran people, and he looked a little lost at times in the Florida game, but when you watch them every single play, they're improving, and I'm really excited about that because when players can show that they can take coaching and learn, you've got a good thing on your hands.
Real quick, somebody in the chat asked where I got all the mini helmets behind me. You can just go to Amazon and just Google Tennessee Volunteers mini helmets, and they're all 4 on there. So yeah, that's where you can check those out. You mentioned Leggett, and Spencer Rattler too, right? We know the game plan. South Carolina's going to struggle to run the football against Tennessee. I just think that's the matchup. We win that matchup, the running game. So if Spencer Rattler's running around making plays, if you're the defensive coach, what's your game plan to try to shut down Xavier Leggett? 27 catches, 556 yards, 3 touchdowns. In that Mississippi State game, he made a lot of plays, picked up a lot of yardage after the catch. But we know this secondary struggled at times. What's your game plan to try to shut him down as a whole from the defensive standpoint?
I mean, we talked about it with the pressure, right? You want to make sure they're moving quick, but you also want to set traps for him. You want to bracket him at times. You want to run over underneath, mixed coverage, so where one corner's on, the other side of the corner is off, and just give him a lot of looks, right? Make sure if he has route trees that you're shutting down his options and playing good, disciplined football against him, not getting beaten off the ball. Tight coverage. We don't want to see any space created in that backfield. I think the tighter our DBs can be on wide receivers this game, it will really help because I think Rattler will be under duress for the whole game. And when you're under duress, soft coverage can be a real problem, as we saw with some of these comeback routes that Florida ran, dragging 2 toes in on the sideline when Graham Mertz was in trouble. You want to make sure you're shutting that down, and it's a perfect opportunity to set up a trap and intercept some of those comebacks and those check down routes. But your safeties have to maintain really good discipline because we've seen that Rattler and Leggett can take the top off of a defense. So you want to really, really make sure you're disciplined. These DBs need to come out and play a good game regardless. I know they've been hot and cold at times. I'm curious if we get Danico Slaughter back. I don't know if anyone in the chat's gotten any news on that. I know Josh Heipel runs misinformation as well as is local news. I mean, news networks, national news networks. He can put it out there with CNN or whoever, with the best of them, right?
We may listen to Heipel's press conference. We'll see. You guys are driving the show. You guys are being very generous with Super Chats. We're going to keep reading those and kind of let you guys take us where you want to take us. If we need to, we will listen to Heipel's press conference. But I would imagine that everybody's a game time decision, but I anticipate they'll be good to go. I would imagine that's what we hear with everybody. But I've not seen anything on Danico Slaughter. Let me catch up on Super Chats here. Gabe Miller becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Gabe. Thank you for that support. Also, Mark Wilhite becomes a member. Guys, keep those memberships rolling in. Very grateful for every single one of you that chooses to donate, whether it's $1, $5. Some of y'all crazy cats give $35 a month. I am grateful, but if you can afford to give $1, hit that join button down below. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. Guys, show them what they've won. Put those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis in the chat. What is your favorite one? Roger Gerald, been a member for 13 months. Says, Boogie, you're going to be at Calhoun's also. No, I will not. No, I will not. Not tonight. Not tonight. I got to get to first of all, I got to watch some high school football tonight, but then also got to get ready for everything going on the channel tomorrow. Then going to try to connect with Coach Jay and Dauber probably on Sunday. So, yeah, not going to be able to make it down. Donovan for 5. Appreciate that, brother. I could see Wesley Walker getting a couple of sacks because he is good at the corner blitzes. Yeah, I like when Tim Banks times up that star blitz. That's a big part of the defense. I want to see that some. But you got to be able to contain, right? You can't let him squeak out the other side or you're going to have your hands full. Alex for 5, who's ready to destroy South Carolina. Hope Rattler stays horizontal all night. Was it Coach? What was it Coach Jay said about his girlfriend?
That we hope. I hope they hit Spencer Rattler so hard his girlfriend dies.
Okay, all you guys
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
chat that are probably, what do you think? Probably 35 or young, probably 35 or younger, maybe 30 or younger, that have never seen the movie The Program. Do yourself a favor, go watch it. When you hear quotes like that and think that Coach Jay's saying something insane, you just got to go watch the movie, man. It's all about college football. When it probably came out in what, the early 90s, maybe? I can't remember.
Early '90s. I was still in youth football at the time.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in the theaters and they had that preview, where he's setting the ball and it's like blue 32, and I was just like chills. I was
Yeah.
like, I got to go see that movie. So I saw it opening night. There's a famous scene in it that they removed from the movie after opening night where they all lay the best friends on the team all lay in the middle of the street and let cars drive over them, like through between the wheels. And of course some jerk went out and tried it and died, and they pulled the scene from the movie.
See, I
But
never saw that because I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't see it till
yeah.
after the fact. But go watch. Do yourself a favor. Go watch The Program. Great movie. It's all about college football, what a program looks like, steroid use, paying players, everything you want in a college football movie. And I hope it still holds up today. I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Coach loves it. We're always quoting it. Donovan for another 5 says that's okay. Boogie the Misery is over next year when Nico is in New York and we win the national championship. Mark it down. If they hit in the portal on the offensive line and also the interior of the defensive line, I think next year's team is going to be extremely, extremely nasty.
Yup.
Your running backs are back. You've still got some. You're going to lose some wide receivers. You've still got some wide receiver talent. I think they're going to be very, very good next year. Rocky Top Town for 5. Coach Jay, if you see a pair of guys barely able to stand after the game, that's my best buddy and me. What a great setup for his first visit to Neyland. I'd say you'll probably see a lot of people that can barely stand up after the game. But have fun, Tom. Enjoy it, buddy. It's always who you're with, man. So enjoy your time. Evan counts for 5. I hate that we feel like we have a chance because of their injuries. I think that just makes it worse. I think, I've liked this matchup all along, all offseason. Their injuries just make it worse, right? Everybody in the SEC, everybody in college football is dealing with injuries. Let's hit these 2 super chats, and we'll kind of blend them together. Wesley Williams for $10 says, do you guys think Joe will be drafted by the NFL? And let's follow it up here with Corey for $20. That's an orange boy. Finally, we got an orange boy. I'm sick of the yellow and the red. No, I'm not sick of red. I like red. Red's probably my favorite color on the channel. But I don't like blue. I don't like green. But I do like orange. And when you drop an orange boy, we'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
So Wesley says, you guys think Joe will be drafted by the NFL. Corey says, I think this is the game Joe finally breaks out. It feels like it's now or never for Milton. That was a big conversation Wednesday, is what happens if Joe struggles and you lose to South Carolina? When do you pull the plug and roll Nico out there? The thing about Joe, and I love Joe. I've supported Joe. I've been behind Joe for a long, long, long time. Back when everybody wanted Harrison Bailey, I was on here selling Joe Milton. But it's the inconsistency that we talked about Wednesday night, right? And it just overcomplicates things when you talk about the injury to the knee, because Joe was rolling. This offense was rolling. And I don't know if it was, you come out the first play, you got the read option, you keep it, and it's a house call. That gives you a little confidence. Is it a confidence thing? Does he just need to be confident? And maybe that's something we need to see Saturdays. Come out, get Joe comfortable early, whether he needs to be hit, whether he needs some easy throws, something to get Joe settled in. But do I think he's ever going to break out? If you're a 6th-year senior, we keep saying 5th, it's 6th-year senior because of the COVID year. Are you ever going to break out, or are you just who you are at that point?
Yeah, I think you're kind of who you are. Will he be drafted? Yeah, I think he'll be drafted. Will he succeed in the NFL is another story. You have the measurables that Joe Milton has. They're going to give you a look, right? They're going to want to see. NFL scouts are kind of like that girl who really likes bad boys and is like, I can totally fix him, but I can fix him and he's going to be good. And 3 months later, you're paying his bail and he's trashed your house, and some of you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think he makes it to the NFL with those immeasurables. But as far as succeeding, I hope he turns it around. If he turns it around, then maybe he can. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong and he can go on and be a great NFL quarterback. But if he kind of just continues on this, he's media core and great sometimes and then bad sometimes, that ain't going to work in the NFL, as we all know.
Yeah, dude, you talk about a meltdown with Tennessee fans as if the Titans drafted Joe Milton after they dropped the ball last year and took Will Levis. Oh my gosh, that would be absolutely hilarious because I'm not a Titans fan, so I would kind of laugh at that. Stuff and Things says, is that the movie with the guy from the Revenge of the Nerds faking the piss test? Saw it when I was a kid and haven't been able to figure it out in 25 years. My mind just got blown. I never put two and two together that was the dude from Revenge of the Nerds.
Is that
Is it?
the guy who's like nerds or whatever?
There's
What's his
Ogre.
name?
Ogre.
Yeah, it's not
Louis.
Booger, but Ogre.
No
Okay,
way.
Yeah.
There's no way
Is
that's
that
the guy.
That's him?
Hold on. Let me go see Steve.
I know he's in
Steve
other
Latimer.
stuff.
Yeah. No way. Andrew.
One of the best mullets ever, by the way, in that movie by the backup quarterback guys who ends up playing a couple of games. Mullet game is on point.
I'm sorry, I'm derailing the
Yeah,
entire
no,
thing
it's
because
okay.
I'm going to look because it's very important to me. I don't think so. I don't think he
Also-
was in Revenge of the Nerds.
I really like how the dad decorates the Christmas tree with like cheap beer cans.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, he wasn't.
Like, I
he
just
wasn't-
don't want to be here when it all comes crashing down.
I'm scrolling through his movies on IMDb. He wasn't in Revenge of the Nerds.
He does look like him. I could see,
Yeah.
you crossing him there, a bit of a doppelganger there.
Kind of blew my mind for a second. I was like, there's no way that I grew up watching both of those movies that didn't connect those dots. VFL Logan for 5. It's just battered ball syndrome. In no world should we lose to this South Carolina team. But as ball fans, how many times have we seen the better team fall flat? Right. How many times did I say, hey, we're favored by a touchdown for a reason to Florida? And then they laid an egg. So everybody has pointed that out to me all week long. Adam Cook for 5. I bet if we beat this team by double digits, the narrative will change to talking about how South Carolina sucks instead of UT may be good. 100% because South Carolina will have 3 losses at that point. And everybody's talking about South Carolina and being tested. Like, I get it. I mean, they played UNC and they played Georgia, and they played Georgia tight, and I think that's why everybody's scared of South Carolina. Like, would you really be scared of a South Carolina team coming off of a Mississippi State win? Like, no, you wouldn't care, but it's because they played Georgia close, I think kind of impacts it a little bit more. Papa J for 5. Hadden bothers me terribly, but if South Carolina throws close to the line of scrimmage, then Hadden has been really good this year in those situations. Off the line of scrimmage, he's bad. I agree. He comes downhill, and he's I think I started to say he likes to tackle, and then I had flashbacks to the missed tackle. So consistency for everybody, not just Joe. Consistency for everybody. Justin Denton dropping $20. That's an Orange Boy. I love Orange Boys. You love Orange Boys. Coach Jay loves Orange Boys. You know who else does? Pat McAfee.
Rocky Top! You'll always be
38-17 Vols. Milton 21 of 30, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wright 15 carries, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Warren also gets a touchdown.
I'll take it. I'd like to see the tight ends really involved this week. I think we all would. Some quick hitting play action, maybe a little RPO off the jet sweep to the tight end up the middle. I'd like to see that, like a little RPO jet sweep play action pass tight end on the seam. Give it to me. I'll take it.
Do you think McAllen Castles is better than Jacob Warren?
In the open field, yeah. At blocking, no.
Yeah, I guess that's
you got to
what
be able to
stands out
block
me.
in this
Yeah.
offense.
He
is a
stands
tight
out to me
end.
in the open field with the ball in his hands. I'm like, that guy's athletic.
yeah.
You got to find a way to get
yeah.
him the football more in the open field. Julian says, which fan base irritates me more, South Carolina or Georgia? Georgia. Like, does South Carolina really even have a fan base? Like, they're
No.
such a small fan base. Hey, we're 45 minutes into this thing. I think we are going to take a look. Oh, I thought you were going to say
They're
something.
little.
Just
They're little
just
fan
making
base.
fun of South Carolina.
Little itty bitty fan.
I think we'll take a listen to what Coach Heipel had to say in his press conference. We'll pause and go through it. You guys want to change gears, you know how to do that. But also want to make some quick plugs. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up 45 minutes into this stream, what are you waiting for? Do me a favor. Smash the thumbs up just below the video, and you can go check out the merch. We got the brand new letters-themed shirts. Shout out Danny White for bringing back the letters. One of my earliest memories as a child of seeing Neyland Stadium was always those letters being up there on the side of Neyland Stadium. And so we bringing back that letters-themed Talkin VAWLS merch. We got Colt member shirts. We are a Colt here. Some people like to point out that Colts are bad. Colts are evil, and the Colt leader is the worst. You should cut his head off. Well, guess what? Let the outsiders hate, and we will continue to build this Colt and this family right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. You want to let Georgia fans, Florida fans, or Alabama fans know that you hate them. There's plenty of merch for that as well. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link is also in the description below if you guys want to go check out some merchandise. I would greatly appreciate it. If you've got merch and you wear it, whether you're out on the town, whether you're at Neyland Stadium, whatever the case may be, tag me up, man. I want to see it on Twitter. I'll scroll the Twitter handles across the bottom. At Boogie Bentley, give me a follow. Tag me up. You can also follow Coach J at Coach_JP_123. Dauber and the X Factor and Balls JP, all those are scrolling across the bottom as well. Come check us out on Twitter. Let's take a listen to Heipel's presser. It's not very long, so we should be able to get through this pretty quickly, but we're going to take a listen to it, see what Coach had to say.
Not everybody at once. Just with Ramel and Jalen Wright, just what's their status going into tomorrow? Yeah, really all the guys that, you didn't see at the end of last week have had a really good week. As always, game time decisions, but feel really good about all of them.
That's the exact words I said he would use, game time decision. I love Coach Heipel.
What kind of matchup problems does Xavier Leggett propose to your team?
Athletic playmaker. We got to do a great job. He's a special player, so we got to do a really good job, and that takes all 11.
Yeah.
Three dumb guys as a Georgia fan.
Coach,
Hey,
with
all
the
Georgia
receivers,
fans
game
are
time
welcome,
decision for
man. You're
Ramel,
welcome
and then
here.
obviously Brew came out of that game. Just kind of what's the confidence level in Caleb Webb right now with what he was able to do last Saturday?
Feel good about Caleb, but feel good about Chaz. You know what I mean? The young receivers continue to get better. They've played important roles on special teams, made plays. Caleb was involved in fake punt stop and, picks up a touchdown a couple plays later. So feel good about all those guys and their continued development.
Sticking with the receivers, how have you seen Dante kind of continue to settle in? Are you seeing signs of progress from him through 4 games?
Yeah, he is, absolutely. There's consistency in some of the things that he can continue to grow in, but love his demeanor, effort, energy, focus, preparation, all that stuff.
Dante Thornton, I still think he has all the potential in the world. I think if he does settle in and buys in and goes to work, and, not to make excuses, but it's kind of like, Joe, me making excuses for Joe when he first came in, right? Those guys, you're coming in, you're learning the system. Coming in through the portal is not easy. And I get it. You understand college football, right? You understand what it looks like, what balancing that classroom plus practices and film study and all the things that a college football player has to balance. You understand that aspect, but you don't necessarily understand Hype's offense. And, Thornton's got a whole nother year after this one. I think his plan, what he wanted and what the talk was going to be, is one and done and get off to the NFL. But right now he's got 7 catches. How many? 89 yards. 7 catches for 89 yards. You're not going to the NFL with those numbers. So I think he could continue to learn this offense and could maybe be a weapon next year with Nico slinging the rock.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's tailor-made for Nico, certainly. But yeah, hey, this offense is about speed and rhythm. You're not just going to step in and get that over a couple scrimmages or practices. So I think Thornton will continue to grow in this offense, and we all saw what he can do, right? He can really take the lid off of the defense, and should be even a nice 1-2 punch in this game if Ramel's not fully up to speed and a full go. Him and Brewer are kind of a nice 1-2 combo on the outside with that length and speed, and then that power really kind of creates a nice way to mess with the corners and the safeties and pick on the linebackers a little over the middle as well and create some mismatches on your variances and your route patterns on RPO and then just on straight pass as well. So I think these receivers, specifically Thornton, should have a big game today. We just got to be able to protect the quarterback now. I will say that Caleb Webb, I think we got one there, guys. He's got good hands. He's fast. He's got a lot of jump. He can get up. I think he'll be a good corner end zone catcher, and he breaks really well on his comeback corner routes. His digs, he's just got a nice little route, and he really picks him up and puts him down nicely on the comeback.
Got a super chat here from Wesley Page for 10. Says, I believe if it's confidence for Joe Milton, we should chant Joe's name like we do Nico's. I believe Joe would have a great game if the crowd would get behind him and support him like we do Nico. And that's – I'm not saying I disagree with that. I'm saying our small little community of the interwebs here can't go in Neyland Stadium and make that difference. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's every college football team in the country. The backup quarterback is always the sexiest player on the team. Always. I've said that every time we have this conversation. But then on the flip side, when you add in the fact that Nico's the number one player in the country, we've all been excited about Nico. We were all excited when Nico committed. You put a video of his first practice, VolQuest. They put up a video of him throwing the football, routes on air, first practice. It has like 95,000 views because people love them some Nico. So I get it, and I'm behind Joe, man. I want nothing more than him to succeed. But guess what? If he lays an egg on Saturday, I'm not going to get on here and pretend that he played great. We're going to call a spade a spade. But I agree with really the narrative there that we need to get behind Joe, and we've had that conversation on the channel too about booing our own players. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not. Get behind these guys and support them in the stadium. Austin Bailey, been a member for 9 months. He's about to give birth to his first Talkin VAWLS child. He says, you think one reason the defense has struggled as of late is because Keenan has been out? I would say 100%. We're seeing how big of an impact Keenan Peely was to this defense. And we talk about depth, right? And Arian Carter, Elijah Herring, Caleb Perry, what those guys add. It's way different when you're relying on those guys at all times, Coach, versus just adding depth to that linebacker room.
Yes, and linebacker is an extremely complex position at the college level. There is a big jump from playing high school linebacker to college linebacker. You know, it's the quarterback of the defense. Certainly, if you're playing Mike, it is. So you really gotta know what you're doing. It's not just as simple as look ball, see ball, go get ball at the college level. There's a lot to it, and coaches, when you are a young linebacker and I'm the opposing offense coordinator, I'm looking at that young linebacker going, I found who I'm going to pick on. I'm going to go pick on this kid because he's young, and I'm going to put him in conflict. I'm going to put him in positions where he's got to choose one, and then basically put him in that position where you're optioning them. And it makes it really tough on young linebackers. And I think as much as the young kids have struggled at that at times, like I said, I do see them getting better out there. And so that's awesome to see. But I definitely think Peely being out has hurt us, not only from a depth standpoint, but just a senior leadership out there of having Peely. He's 47 years old and has 5 kids and a mortgage. So he's got a lot of experience. And one more quick comment. I will say on the Joe Nico thing, it's a lot easier to chant the name Nico than Joe. I mean, think about it, right? Like Joe,
just rolls off the tongue.
Joe.
Well, you can chant "Let's go, Joe." Let's go, Joe.
Okay, there you go. That's
Joe.
better. Yeah,
See,
it's got a cadence.
You got to be a pro wrestler.
I'll take it. You sold me, Boogie. You sold me. I'm in. Okay. I'm going to get that chant going. I'm going to get that chant going in the stadium. Yes.
It's going to go like this. You're going to go, "Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. Let's."
And they'll go, "Put in Nico." Put in Nico. I'll be like, crap.
You may get.
They're going to all blame me for this. They're going to all, mustard bottle immediately to the back of the head.
Oh man.
Go back to Southern California, junior high coach.
Yeah. Why are you here hating on our team, California kid?
Yeah. Dang it.
Oh, my gosh. Justin Denton for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Might be crazy to think, but we struggle on the road. What do you think of Neyland being loud while we're on offense? Get them ready for the road some. No, absolutely not. Somebody said this just the other day. No, let's not create problems for ourselves in a huge game that we need to win. They have struggled on the road, though. I think they struggle with noise and communication, and it's not just this year. It goes back to Georgia last year. Who else last year? Why am I having a brain fart on the other game that I was going to mention? Obviously, the Gators this year, they've struggled, man. They have struggled on the road for sure. But thank you for the $5, Justin. We appreciate it. Let's hear more from Coach Heipel talking about injuries, I'm sure.
Hey, Josh, talk about having Coach Fulmer and the 98 guys back this weekend as well.
Really, it is. It's special to have an opportunity to have all those guys back here. Coach Fulmer and those guys have an opportunity to remember and tell a bunch of stories on Friday night. I think they got a social gathering, and then obviously for everybody that's in the stadium and those watching from Vol Nation, opportunity to, remember and look back on that special season and those guys too. They're a huge part of our history, our tradition. It's been fun for me over the last 2.5 years getting to know all of those guys. It's a special group. They're still extremely close. It should be a really fun weekend for those guys here Friday and Saturday.
What is he laughing at? Like, what is he laughing? When did he win the Natty? Was it 99 that Heipel won the Natty?
I think it was, right? Like 99
So right
or
after
2000
Tennessee.
right
So he
there.
competed
Yeah.
against those guys, right? Like, I mean,
Oh,
so that's kind of
yeah.
– and I wonder if that's why he's chuckling. I do want to say this. I don't plug the volunteer club enough. If you guys want to get involved in NIL and supporting NIL and recruiting, if you're ever one of those people that say, oh, we should have paid him more, maybe we don't have the money, there's strength in numbers, you want to get involved in NIL, there's a link in the description below where you can join the volunteer club. You can give as little as $5 a month, and it all goes, like I think 90% goes towards the players. But the reason I bring that up is because he's talking about this national championship team. Everybody in the chat saying 2000. They won in 2000.
Yeah.
The reason I bring that up, Al Wilson is going to be at the volunteer club tailgate. They do a tailgate every home game. I think they're doing them for some of the away games. I think they did one for the Virginia game in Nashville. Al Wilson, you want a chance to meet the greatest defensive player to ever play for the University of Tennessee? You can be a member of the volunteer club. You get access to that tailgate. You get to hang out and meet Al Wilson. Just something I wanted to put out there. But go ahead, Coach. I cut you off. What were you going to say?
Just did they kind of totally off topics, but did they ever settle on something? Is the crowd like, is there any kind of thing going on, or is it just wear whatever the hell you want?
I think it's just wear whatever you
Heck,
want. I would imagine because if they
That's
were
what I
doing
thought.
something, you would think it would be all over
You'd be
Twitter.
seeing it all over the place.
I think somebody
definitely
tried
haven't
to
seen
start checker Nealand early, and then it immediately became no, blackout. Do a black and orange checker, all these different things. Boo Carter called it a blackout. I don't think it's actually a blackout. I think it's just wear whatever you want.
No, I think, okay. Yeah.
Usually when it's cold, though, like a night game and cold, there's a lot of black in the stands anyway.
Because they're wearing,
black
sweaters.
jackets and stuff.
I have a black Tennessee sweater. Yeah. Cool.
Jay, the line for 2, is Hooker going to be there? Not that I've seen or heard. I have not seen or heard that, so no idea. Thank you, Jay, for the super chat, though. Appreciate that, brother. Timothy, for 5, how about instead of paying $9 million for one quarterback, we save that money for our offensive line, defensive line, and just get the quarterback in the JUCO? Let me say this. Nico was worth every penny. Every penny. Because Nico single-handedly made Tennessee cool again. He made Tennessee the place to be. Following recruiting, and that was when really I think that was the first full offseason that I spent covering recruiting. And it was a fun offseason, man, because Nico made it fun. So many big names were on campus, and you're never going to get them all. You're not going to get them all. But Nico was always in town. He was on the river. He was hanging out with people. Nico was worth every penny that Tennessee spent on him. And then almost similar like to Boo Carter this year. Boo Carter's kind of been that leader of recruiting. But, Coach, I know you know or you believe that Nico was worth every penny.
Yeah, I do think he was worth it. And not only that, unless it's a transfer portal guy on the offensive line, I get nervous about spending a ton of money on offensive line. It's an insanely hard position to grade out at the high school level because, listen, whenever you have an offensive lineman at the high school level who's 6'5", 320 pounds, he's going to be dumpstering kids left and right. He's going to be flat backing everyone, and it's really, really hard to grade him out unless you have that, that special kid on the offensive line. So it makes me nervous to spend. I don't think we shouldn't spend any money on offensive linemen. I'm not saying that. I think we should go get ours, but dropping $5 million on an offensive line makes me nervous. And I know Mountain Go is good, and he looks like he's worth it right now, but still a heck of a gamble. And quarterback is certainly a much easier position to grade out at the high school level than offensive linemen and defensive linemen.
And you got to look at what this coaching staff is trying to balance too, right? Like talking about Francis Mauigoa. You look at the other offensive linemen that were and we talked about this back at the time. You're trying to balance out a guy that wants a ton of money, and maybe you split that between 2 4-star offensive linemen, and you can get 2 guys for the price of 1, but instead you ended up getting Shamrod Umarov, and that was really the only one of the 4 that you hit on. But look at this cycle. Again, going back to the beginning, talking about Jordan Seaton. Tennessee's hit on some really good offensive linemen this cycle, so are they maybe using some of that NIL money this cycle on the offensive line? And then you can convolute it even more and say, we need to hit the portal hard and heavy this offseason. So how much of that NIL money needs to be saved for this offseason so you can go and get guys that you need on this offensive line? Look, they tried to add guys, adding John Campbell, adding Andres Carrick, and both of those guys are starting on this offensive line through the portal. So, we're trying to build this roster back up. That's why it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. Look at Heipel's face. He's in a mood, man. He's laughing. Maybe he's confident. Maybe he knows something that Vegas knows and that we don't know. Maybe that's why Coach Heipel is grinning ear to ear. Let's hear a little bit more. About 3 minutes left on this presser, and then we'll call it a day, boys.
Josh, when a team does as many things as South Carolina does on special teams, does that eat into more than it normally would, trying to prepare for different scenarios?
Well, I think they're aggressive on special teams, so you got to anticipate. You got to have your eyes on your keys and be ready to play ball. Those are things that you work every single week because you don't know when it's going to get called from the other side of it. So, for us, we need to win special teams. The field position battle will be important in this. It changes the way the game's played offensively and defensively, and we got to do a really good job.
Tyler Barron, it seems like he's playing his best football of his career. What do you think he's doing well, and can you see something different in him from a mentality standpoint? And then, lastly, with that 98 group coming in, I mean, those are all players that are right around the same age as you. So, is that something where you knew some of those guys from recruiting? You knew. I know you got 2 years.
He is in a mood, man. I don't remember the last time I've seen him this loose. He seems. I don't know. He just seems like he's in a good mood. Maybe he had biscuits and gravy. That's the way I look when I have biscuits and gravy for breakfast. I'm just smiling and laughing the whole day. I'm just happy.
Yeah, he got Necess gummies or something, man.
Yeah,
he's in a
something's
good mood.
going on down there, man. He is he is giddy. Timothy McGee for 5. Yeah, but I'm talking about JUCO offensive line, defensive line going after them, and quarterback. So that $9 million is sitting on the bench. True freshman, right? Ideally, that's what you want. You want Nico to be on the bench. If as sexy as the backup quarterback is, if Joe Milton was balling out, if Joe Milton was out there slinging the rock for 300, 350, and 4 touchdowns every week, nobody would be calling for Nico. We would be saying, hey, let's see Nico in mop-up duty. That's what we'd be talking about. So I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think Nico was worth every penny. Terry Matthews for 5, appreciate that super chat. The quarterback talk reminds me of 87. Francis was a decent quarterback, bad play. The Sanders chance would start. Then we got Sanders, and the Hinton chance went up. GBO, yeah, we've kind of joked about that.
It can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. Hey, and even with Nico, like I said, he got proven on the field, man. Just because, we've got some things in line, and I think, he's just a great kid, great family. How could you, like Joe, how could you not root for him with the stories that they have? Both of them are easy to root for, but it's no difference for me. He's going to have to earn it on the field in the SEC, full stop. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. So, yeah, it's just that simple, guys.
Russell Moorfield with a 20 spot. That's an orange boy. It's not blue. It's not yellow. It's not green. It's my favorite color. It's orange, and we'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Appreciate that super chat, Russell. Very generous. $20 is not cheap. That's a lot of money, so I appreciate that donation. Says late fee paid. GBO. Russell feels like because he showed up late in the stream, he needs to donate a little bit more. Well, I appreciate you being here, Russell. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Let's hear a little bit more here from the giddy Coach Josh Heipel. He is ready to go.
You know what I'm saying? Did you know any of those guys personally before you got here just because you're around the same recruit age time frame?
I probably wasn't as highly recruited as most of those guys were, so a little bit different. But the 98 group, know of them, knew a couple of them, but for me it's been awesome just because as you're playing college football, you know who all those guys are, and so getting an opportunity to know them, Al Wilson's Celebration College Football Hall of Fame, a bunch of those guys were all back. Got a chance to spend time with them in the spring, and then get a chance to see some of those that I hadn't met when they came back for his event during the course of the season as well. Those guys are hugely important to our program in the past and in the present too. Those guys still live in our footprint and are a part of our recruiting too. And so it's been fun to get to know those guys. Tyler Barron, I just think his continued growth as a person, his consistency, his work habits, being completely healthy. When we first got here, he was a guy that was coming off a shoulder surgery. His continued growth fundamentally has allowed him to absolutely be playing his best football that he has in his career. He's doing a great job getting off of the football. He's been violent and disruptive. He's playing with his hands extremely well. And then his versatility, his ability to play outside, and then when we go rabbits, be inside, and play at a really high level in both of those positions. Him embracing those types of things too has been critical in what he's doing right now.
Your daily Cooper Mays question, how is he doing? What's his status?
Practiced really well. Like those other guys that I talked about, we'll ensure that through tomorrow and then obviously game day that they're ready to go compete at the level that you need to in this one. South Carolina's big, strong, physical, explosive up front. So hopefully we'll have him locked and loaded and ready to roll.
That's the final question there that they ask him. I think Cooper Mays starts on Saturday. I don't think he plays the whole game. I think they're going to maybe a snap count on him. And how much better can this offense be, right? We've talked about it to death the last few weeks, really the entire season. I think Cooper's going to improve this offense. Something I like hearing, him talk about Tyler Barron, right? How many guys were a part of this Tennessee football team, and we kept saying, all right, when are you going to do something? Like dance, monkey, dance, poking them with the stick, saying, when are you going to, like Jalen Hyatt, okay, we've seen your speed. Cedric Tillman, you've sat over there and done nothing for 3 years, and then now all of a sudden, and it's like we talk about development. And I know, I'm not taking anything away from the players. Like Jalen Hyatt said it. He's like, I didn't buy in. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. It took him buying in. But also, we're seeing this coaching staff, we say it all the time, they develop guys. And we're seeing that. We're seeing guys like BY go to the NFL. Tyler Barron, man, he's a guy that you're like, are you gonna do anything? You're just gonna kind of sit there, bro. And then here he comes. It's awesome to see these guys that have been at Tennessee for a while going into their senior season, and now they're starting to make plays and probably going to be able to play football at the next level.
Yeah, look, the light came on, it clicked, the game slowed down, whatever coach speak term you want to input, it's happened for Mr. Barron. It happened for several players on this team. We've seen this team this coaching staff continue to grow multiple players on this team. So they are out there being teachers and developers of players, which is what you want. We don't want people to come in and get stagnant or regress, which we've seen in previous coaching staffs as well. So we are certainly blessed to have that. And as we keep on bringing in more and more talent, we'll keep on coaching it up. It's really exciting. I know everyone's given Willie a little bit of a hard time in the chat as being a teacher, and deservedly so, right? It's kind of the weak link in the chain right now, and the old adage, you're only as strong as your weakest link, certainly rings true sometimes when it comes to him. He's in a contract year, and he got some coaching to do, I think, as far as everyone on the Tennessee fan base is concerned. But as far as Tyler Barron and a lot of the other kids, yeah, man, we're coaching them up. Super excited to see what this offense can do with Coop back on the field. And I kind of felt bad at him, going into this, but I feel a little better after hearing hype right there, because he seemed so positive and upbeat about Cooper playing the last few weeks, and he kind of seemed a little down about it this time. So maybe he's hitting us with the old reverse psychology here. We'll see. But I agree. I think it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. We get him in spurts. I think I read somewhere he had a good week of practice, whatever that means. I don't know who saw what of practice this week. Sometimes that's just a barrel full of pucky. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be exciting. I think we do get better if Coop's out there.
Mike Harmon in the chat, I see your comment about Seton. I don't know if you popped in the stream late. We kind of opened talking a little bit about recruiting. We're going to wrap up the stream here in just a few minutes. I encourage you to go back and watch at the beginning. We talk about some of the guys that are going to be on campus. We talk about Boo Carter. We talk about Jordan Seton. So if you missed that, go back and check it out. Also dropped a video yesterday talking about recruiting. Realistic one for $10. Appreciate that, brother. Says, keep building what you're building. Boogie, I have a new respect for you, sir. I'm here to support good content. I think you may have been in the chat of the drama that went down. Look, I'll touch it one last time. I just want to build a group of positivity, right? Positivity. And that doesn't mean we can't argue and fuss and disagree. It just means that I'm not going to let people come in and cuss at you guys or insult you guys or name call. Like, I'm not a 12-year-old. I'm not here to insult people and get laughs and do that type of content. I'm here to talk with like-minded people, casual fans, diehard fans that love Tennessee football, and get your opinions, my opinions, coaches' opinions, the fan call-in show. This is your community. It's not my community. Somebody's got to be the cult leader, so I'll hand out the Kool-Aid, but I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to build something with you guys, right? That's what it's all about. I hope you guys feel like you have a voice here. I truly hope you feel like you have a voice here. That's what it's all about. I'm not interested in the nonsense and the tomfoolery of YouTube. I'm here to look, and I get it. Trent in the chat says, I love positivity and realism. That's the thing. You can be real and still not be a negavol, right? If Joe plays bad, we're going to give our opinions on how Joe played. That's just what we're going to do right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you love it, great, be a part of it. If you don't, cool, go somewhere else and find what you enjoy and spend your time and energy and money in that. Negavol says almost to 23,000. Yeah, we are 34 subscribers away. As of right now, 34 subscribers away from 23,000. So we got 315 people watching right now. Do me a favor and hit the share button down below. Even though the stream's about to end, hit the share button. It'll let you put it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media platforms you use. All you got to do is hit that button. Boom, it goes out. Now, everybody that follows you, all of your friends see it. That's how we grow. We continue to build this community. And, yeah, we're going to gatekeep it. We're going to gatekeep it and only allow the people that we want in this community to be here. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you to be here. So let's keep growing this thing. Let's keep building like-minded people. Let's keep building relationships. That's what Tennessee's all about. That's what Coach Jay says all the time. Football is family. That's what we are right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. You guys go hang out with Coach Jay tonight at Calhoun's. You guys enjoy the game tomorrow, Coach. I'll be right here with you guys an hour before kickoff and then immediately following the game. Even though Coach Jay and Dauber are at the game, we got a great panel coming on for that post-game show, so make sure you guys come join us for that. But that is going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm forever grateful for the way that you support what we're building around here. But for Coach Jay, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.